Hey guys, and welcome back. My name is Drachronic, and today, this video right now is just going to be very short, probably. Um, I think it was Karma said that he wanted to see a big redstone experiment from me. Um, he thought that would be cool, but I kind of ran out of ideas for redstone stuff. You only can do so much with vanilla redstone. You can only do so much. You can't really. I mean, without MC edit and everything, like, there's only so much redstone stuff I can actually put on the server because they don't have command blocks or anything, so I can't do anything like that. And so I was trying to figure out something to put on the server that would work good and actually had a purpose instead of just being, hey, look, I can do this. It doesn't really do anything, but I can do it. Instead of doing something on like a modded world or something, just to show what you can do. I actually came up with this in class. It actually has a purpose. It's when when you have torches everywhere, when you're like on your survival world or on a server or something, you'll see torches just everywhere to keep the mobs at bay. And while they look fine at night, they're there. They keep the mobs out. It looks all lit up and everything. During the day, they kind of look pretty dorky. And so I tried to come up with a way that you would only have the light at night, and during the day it looked completely normal, completely basic, looked like you never even been to the place, basically. There's nothing there. And so the way I did this was with some pistons, some normal pistons, some sticky pistons, a lot of redstone, a lot of torches, repeaters, and all that kind of stuff. These command blocks, all they do is they set the time to day and they set the time to night. I'll just show you, just so you know there's no funny business. I don't know why you'd think there's funny business. But yeah, all it does is there's glowstone blocks underneath some of these, and it just brings them up during the night, and during the day they turn back into sandstone or whatever you want. If it's grass, you can it just turns back into grass. And it doesn't do that with the set block command or anything in the new snapshots and all that. All it does is straight vanilla 1.6.4, and just to show you, see, it has all these see, these are normal ones. This is a sticky piston because it takes that block down, and it's just the same thing repeated 3 times, so we got 3 space in between the light, and it's pretty it's pretty big, actually. It's really big, but that is because it's the first time I ever tried it, and so I had nothing to do, nothing to look at to see, oh, they did it this way, oh, they did it that way. I've really never seen it done before. I mean, I think people have done it before, but I've never seen it done before, so I had nothing to take my notes off of or anything, so I had to write this all out, and I had to test it many times, but it finally works. I'll just show you it in action, and then I'll show you it exactly how it works if you want to try to build it. But the most confusing part is this right here, this circuit right here. This is confusing. I actually screwed it up, and I had to look it up how to do it because I forgot one torch, I think, somewhere. I think it was this torch. Yeah, pretty annoying. That thing's annoying. And these are command blocks, just turn it to day and night too, so you can see it from the bottom. So let's go up here, and it's daytime right now, so you'll see there's no lights. But if we set it to night, boom, lights come out. It's all lit up. You don't got to worry about mobs in here, anything like that. And this is just, imagine this as just a flat piece of land. There's no walls. So the walls are there because this is a redstone world, so it's really hard to see where, if I went like this, and it was the daytime right there. You really look at that. You just kind of can't tell that that's the end of the floor. It kind of looks like it blends in with the rest out there. So I'll just put the walls there so you know where the end is really easily. But whoa, let's go back up here. Whoa. Okay, there we go. Night, lights come out. It takes it a couple seconds, and at day, lights go back in, replaced with whatever block you want to blend in. And it really doesn't take up that much space underneath. It only takes up 2 blocks, so it's it's really compact in that way, but in the way that it takes up all this to just do it, yeah, it's I can compact this a lot, like a lot. I could probably make it pretty small. The circuit's compact as much as it can, but the rest of it is just because usually when I make redstone stuff, I make them as big as I can. That way I understand how they work, and then I kind of work it down to where they're smaller and smaller every time. So this is just the first iteration, I guess, first version you'd call it. But just to show you, you can see how it works from down here, day, night. See, it just pushes that away, and then it pushes the glowstone, and then during the day, it does the reverse. See, and it does it really quick. So it's really good because I got it set to the exact delay it needs, so that way it doesn't waste any time or anything. And it's all done with vanilla, with the daylight sensor starts it all. So you'd have to put that somewhere. I don't know where you'd put it. Maybe you could have you could have it like a glass block on top or something, so that way you could see the daytime. But I don't know how you'd get that so it wouldn't be noticeable, but because you need that. But it all does it without your interaction. These command blocks don't really do anything redstone wise. There's no redstone connected to them. It's all done by it's all done by just, you know, when it turns night they come out. When it turns day again, they go back in. It's pretty much all it does. If we push it, there we go. Push it again, there we go. So I just thought it was really cool. It's an idea I came up with while I was in class, because my classes are very boring, and it's on Monday, and Mondays are very boring because I'm at school for like 9 freaking hours, and it just sucks. So I came up with this in class. I called it night lights, but I don't know, whatever you guys would want to call it. But enough of that. Let's get into how to build this. So it starts out with a daylight sensor. As I said, you got to put that somewhere. Make sure you put it somewhere where it sees light, and like nothing would block it. If it's out in the open, make sure, and you're on a server, make sure nobody would like put their building over it or anything. You got to make sure it's, or you could like I did on my on the mine rage that one time. I did, let me get that. I did it where it was like, let's get something to build with. Let's get some stone, and that's good. I did it where I had like a path like this, and then I had the daylight sensors right here, so they kind of blended in, not blended in, but they kind of look like they're there for a purpose, and you know, they looked kind of cool. They're kind of decorative looking, so you could do that as well. You know, and there's the entrance to your house, so they kind of look like lamps, almost like the kind that you have in your gardens and stuff. So you could do that, or you just put it on the grass if you want. I mean, you don't really have to do any of that. But starts all with the daylight sensor, which, as you know, when the daylight sensor senses daylight, it sends out a pulse. When it senses daylight, when it senses daylight, sends out a pulse. When it senses no light, then it doesn't send out a pulse. As you can see, if I went like that, that's on because this is off. But as soon as it's daytime, it turns that off, because now it's getting the pulse, or the, not pulse, the redstone is sending a signal to this, which turns that off. So it senses light and sends a signal out if it is light. So you just gotta remember about that. And then you got to send this on just a normal 1 tick pulse, or whatever you want to call it. Just 1 tick. That seems to work the best. And this is a 2 monostable circuits right next to each other. It's really confusing to make, I will admit, really confusing. But it's just basically all it does is so that the daylight sensor will act as a button, basically, because you know what a button does. You put the All we got is stone to mess with. Oh, no, we can do that. You put the button there, and then the button just sends a quick pulse. If we do that, and then we grab a, let's grab a piston. It just sends a quick pulse, and then shuts off. Quick pulse, shuts off. Quick pulse, shuts off. That's all it does. Same thing with pressure plates and stuff. And so it just makes the daylight sensor, which is a constant on or constant off pulse. There's no in between. It makes it so it acts like a button. It'll send a pulse when it turns on the first time, and then as long as it's daytime, it'll never send a pulse again. And then when it turns off, it'll send a pulse, and it won't send a pulse until it turns back on again. So it just sends a really quick pulse. If you can see it, I don't know if you can see it. See, it goes really, really quick. That's all this circuit does. All the circuit does. You just have to have, it goes into here. There's 2 torches on each side. You got to put a block above this torch. This torch goes into here. So it looks like this. Yeah, the circuit's about 5 blocks long because you got a torch right here. You got to make sure. And then this is basically almost the mirror image of the one next to it. So you have a torch, redstone on top, torch, redstone on top, and then you have a 2-tick repeater, 2-tick. Is that 2-tick or is that 3? That's 2. Some people call that 3 because they think the first one technically is 1, but I always count it as 0 because I'm a programming major, so I always count it as 0 and then 1, 2. So it's either 2 or 3 depending on what you call it. Tick. And then you just have redstone right next to it, and then you just have this right here, this back wall that has redstone on top of it with a torch. And then you just connect all these, and there you go. That's your circuit. And oops, press the button. You see it works. It just sends out a really quick pulse. I mean, nothing too long, because that is actually, I don't know if that's like that might be like a fourth of the time faster than a button. I'm not sure. Yeah, that might be 4 times faster than a button, because a button is actually pretty long, and the stone buttons are shorter than the wooden ones. So yeah, that is a pretty quick pulse. It just does that, and then you have to have this on 3 ticks. I think, no, is that 2 ticks again? That's 2 ticks. Okay, so you have to have this on 2 ticks, and it sends it to all 5 of these rows that actually do all the stuff. So first of all, you got the middle row. Middle row just sends a pulse. Doesn't matter what the repeater on is, really just normal repeater. And then you have the torch on the other side, which keeps these always on. That way, it always pushes the block up, and it always stays there. That way, it kind of blends in with the ground. As you can see, you can't really tell where it's at. As if you turned it off and you had a just normal pulse, it'd just be like that, and you'd have the holes everywhere. So that just keeps it so it just stays on all the time, even when it's off, when the daylight sensor is not sending a pulse, it just keeps it on. And so that's all it does, and it just sends it through. This is the maximum amount that the redstone can travel, is this far. Actually, I think it's like 3 more blocks, so we can't really make another row of lights right here. We can't really make another one. 3 is the max, but you can do these side by side. So I mean, it wouldn't be too much of a hassle to do another row right next to it. And I will say that you should probably place them about 5 blocks apart. These are 3 blocks apart, 5 blocks apart. That way you don't waste that much glowstone, and that way it still lights up the place, because glowstone is better than a torch for lighting up things. But yeah, that's all the middle row does. This one doesn't really matter what you put here. I like to put a redstone repeater so I know where the end of it is. And that's the middle row. And then these 2 side rows are basically the exact same. You have the pulse gets sent into here, which gets sent into the piston, as you see. Same thing on both sides. And then that's all that does. That's all that does. It just sends it into this piston. And what this piston does is, as you see, this one has a block right in front of it, and this one has a block over there. So what it does is when it triggers that piston to move really quick, this one will move the block, and this one will push the block, and So that way you keep it so wherever this block is at, you want to power that. So how you do that is you have a block right here that sends the pulse through. And since this one doesn't have a block, none of this gets set off. Because otherwise, since these are three blocks apart like this, like that, 3 blocks apart, when you're pushing something into it, sometimes this one will go off first, like that, and this one, as you see, won't be able to, oops, didn't mean to press that there. This one won't be able to go off because that one is pushing it already. But as soon as that one goes off and this one comes on, then it'll be able to push it. So you just want to make it so the one that's not supposed to be pushing anything doesn't get set off at all. So that's what I've done here. It just sends the pulse to this that turns either one of these off and one of them on, so that way now this one will be on, which means next time it'll push this, and then this one will get pushed out, so now the signal will go to this one. That's pretty much all those do. And then the big heavy lifting is on this, I don't know why that's there, is on the side, and the sides are the exact same, like the exact same. There's no blocks that are out of place like these two, the exact same thing. You just have the signal going to here, just a normal repeater sending through that block whenever it's there, and then you just got the redstone going down to the pistons. That's pretty much it. You got to make sure the pistons are on a full repeater, a full 3-tick repeater right here, all the way. You got to make sure that's all the way, otherwise if I do this and I put it on maybe 2 ticks, you'll see in a second why you have to have it. Oops, you got to have, it's daytime now. Oh, 2 ticks might work too. I didn't try that. Okay. Yeah, 1 tick won't work, definitely. 1 tick won't work. But it will work because this one was on 1 tick. So you just want to make sure that you have it. I guess 2 ticks would work. I didn't really try that out. I probably should have. But I just put 3 ticks just to be safe. But 1 tick or no ticks or 1 tick will not do it, because it won't have enough time to actually press it into there, because it'll press it before this goes down, which is a big no-no. Don't do that. But it looks like 2 ticks will work, so 2 or 3 ticks, it doesn't really matter. I just put on 3 ticks just to be safer, but it's just the same thing on each one. Redstone, and then you got the repeater, and then you got a normal piston. Normal pistons on the side, sticky piston in the middle. And then you got the same thing, redstone, repeater, piston, redstone, repeater, piston. That's all you got to do. And you got to make sure that, and the other side is the exact same. You got to make sure that whatever one is going to get powered next, like this side's going to get powered next, because this is right here, then you got to make sure that that's the one you want either your glowstone on, or if it's night, you want your block, your grass block, your sandstone block, whatever block you want. You got to make sure that's right there, because if it's on the other one, it's not going to do anything, because it's going to push air, and air doesn't move. So you want to make sure it's on there, and that's pretty much it. If we see it work in action a couple more times, if I stand like right here, maybe get a good view of those 2 pistons, you'll see it just goes really quick, and it pushes it over to the other piston, and then it pushes it up, and that's pretty much all it does. It does it pretty quick. We send it today again. Yeah, that's all it does. But it's an idea I came up with while I was in class, pretty bored, and I'm actually really happy with the way it came out. Now, I would want to put this on the server. You can put it on the server. It's all vanilla. And the reason why I would put it on the server is because I really hate the look of torches, especially when you're building like a town or something. And so to kind of overcome that obstacle, I could make it where these would come out as like street lights on the sides of the street, and that way it wouldn't look bad during the day with all the torches everywhere. So yeah, I just came up with this as something to put on the server. I might not put it on the server. I don't know. It's going to take a really long time to work out, because I still got a bunch of stuff to do on it to try to get it more compact, so I can put more of them closer together. But for now, it works. It does its purpose, and I'm really happy with it. And so guys, I just hope you liked the video, and if you did, please leave a like. If you had any ideas for any other redstone experiments you want me to try out, or you want to see done, or you have an idea that you don't think can be done in Minecraft but you want to see if somebody can figure it out, if it maybe can, then just leave me a comment. I'll try it out. If you want to, if you're having trouble with any redstone stuff, I could probably help you, but I'm not a freaking genius like Seth Bling. That dude is crazy. That dude's just crazy. But yeah, I can figure out most stuff. I'm mostly self-taught with redstone, so I don't really have the jargon, the terminology, down. I really don't know what some people are talking about when they say things, because I've always called it something different, because I never really bothered to learn the names of them. Like, I just now learned what this is called. But yeah, I just think it's a really cool design, really cool experiment, and I really hope you guys like it. And I hope I explained it good enough for you. If I didn't explain something good enough, then just leave a comment. I'll try to explain it some more. But I think I showed you pretty much how to make it, and it's actually really useful if you want to light up an area, or maybe for an adventure map, if you want to have it where the lights come out in like a temple or something. It's just pretty cool. And you don't have to have this as a daylight sensor. I probably should have taken that. Okay, daylight sensor. It could also be a lever or a button, or basically anything. Lever, the exact same thing. It'll do the exact same thing as a lever. So you see, so you don't really have to have a daylight sensor. You're not restricted to a day and night cycle. You can also do it as a lever if you want to just light up your house or whatever with it. You can do it that way. So it's actually really, really useful. Yeah, guys, I hope you liked the video, and I'll see you guys next time.